Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Joanna Daniel. If this is your first time watching me live, I am a counselor, speaking author, and a founder of Wounds to Scars, where we help survivors of childhood trauma to heal so that they can show up better in their relationships. I was just testing the sound. It sounded okay. So I just finished the Building a Secure Base webinar. Building a Secure Base. I've just finished that webinar. And it was great because attachment is my favorite thing to talk about, and just helping people to understand that when we don't have, hey, thank you for joining, when we don't have a secure place, when we don't have security, when we were in our formative years, how it creates this model of relationships that we take with us through life, and how important it is to understand our attachment pattern, one, and how to heal if we don't have secure attachment. Because when we don't have secure connection with our primary caregivers, with the people who care for us, then we have this we have this view that the world is unstable, that people are not accessible, that people are not supportive, that people will not be there for us, that people can't be trusted, that we have to do things for ourselves. You hear people say, I'm a loner, I do things on my own, I am this and I'm this. But the truth is, we were created for connection. All of us were created to live in community, created to live with each other, and to gain from social connection and social interaction. And there's several things that disrupts that, like trauma. And this is in our community. We are adult survivors of childhood trauma, so trauma disrupts it. When our parents, for example, has been traumatized, then the model of attachment that they will have will oftentimes not be secure. And then when we have been traumatized as children, and we need that security even more than the child who wasn't, and a parent who isn't aware of how to connect with each child individually, then sometimes we are left on our own, and the world feels unsafe, and we oftentimes sometimes we fall back into ourselves because there's nothing to connect to, there's nothing to attach to. And when that happens, as I said, it gives us this sense of the world being an unsafe place, that people can't be trusted. We want love, but we're afraid of having it, we're afraid of losing it. Sometimes there's a push pull where there's this um wanting it but is afraid of it. Sometimes there's an inconsistency, and all of that creates this, either a confusion, or we fall back into self, and we live sometimes in a bubble, or we live overly focused on other people meeting our needs, or just frozen, unable to function and to access and to be with. Now I know that when I'm working with people to reparent and to build that security for themselves, and to look for resource and experiences, because they're all around us, so that we can change, we can begin to rewrite the narrative that we have about relationships, and we can begin to change that internal working model that we have, because it can be changed, it can be healed. I wouldn't do what I do if I didn't believe that it can be healed. So when we begin to do that, we can see we can see things all around us. It's available, it's accessible, it's doable, and we can do it as well. We can do it. We're fully capable of building security and safety. We don't have to live with a fear of connecting with people. We don't have to live with a fear of ourselves. We don't have to live in fear of who we are, of the people that we let in our lives, because we learn, when we know what safety looks like, then we know what unsafe people looks like. Because if we don't know what safety looks like, we won't know what unsafe people looks like. And so when we learn that, and we learn about ourselves, we learn about who to let in and who not to let in. And so that's, in a summary, what the webinar was all about. I also talk about religion and culture and the impact of those two on attachment. And that piece is interesting. I just got a text message to say thank you so much for that webinar. I didn't know how to view it that way. If you want, I'm going to post a link where you can access this webinar. If you'd like to view it, I'm going to post a link that you can access it, and where you can get the information. I'm inviting you via that to our special community where I'm dedicated to teaching how to build secure attachment, how to change your internal working model of relationships. I talk about myself, our parenting, how we're using attachment to make it through the teenage years. You know how everybody say the teenage years is turbulent and it's this, and we're using attachment to make it through the teenage years, to connect to my son who with male, and my daughter who we had broken attachment when she was born because she was ill and had to be in hospital for 3 weeks. So there are things that is outside of our control that cause broken attachment, and the work that is required to healing yourself, to heal in the relationship, and to make it a secure, safe place. So I talk about what it feels like every time she says, "Mom, can we talk?" How privileged I feel, and how excited and happy that the work of attaching, even after that broken attachment, how worth it is. And it still is every day. And I also talk about the fact that it doesn't matter how old your children are. If they're grown and gone and have families of their own, it's still, the work is still necessary. It's still needed, and it will still be welcomed. It doesn't matter how old they are, they still want it. They're still that little child that wants to connect to mom, wants to connect to dad. So I'm inviting you to our special community. The link is above the video or below it, depending on where you're watching from. Go and have a look and see what we're offering, and what you will get for next to nothing every month as I teach you. And every month we'll also have a workshop where we're looking at resources that we can use. We are picking things apart, and we're implementing and teaching implementation strategies so that you can enjoy safe relationships, so that your internal working model of relationships can be different, so that you can have security in relationships with the people that you allow in your life, so that you know that you have a say and you don't have to just accept anything that comes. So that's what I'll be talking about, and building resilience, attachment and building resilience. So check out the link above the video or below the video. If you have any questions, as usual, you can inbox me or you can email me at joanna@woundstoscars.com. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be here every day. Every day I'm committing. So I want you to hold me accountable every day for the rest of the year. I'm going to be here doing a video. I used to do this. I did this back in October to December, and I stopped, and somebody asked, "Are you still doing those videos?" And I realized that I just kind of left you hanging, and you're needing it. So I'm going to be here every day. The times might vary, but I'll be here still. So thank you so much for joining, and have a great evening. Bye.